Nice.
Or anything outdoors, really.
Okay.
See, that's where I am jealous of you, where you get to do that for a living. Where
He'll hire you. You can have another job. 15.
I have
15 jobs never hurt anybody.
Well, nothing is bad with fishing. I mean, really.
That one Mother's Day, my youngest son loved to fish. That was like his favorite thing. So one Mother's Day, he planned the day for me. And our day consisted of riding our bikes down to the derby pond, the fishing derby pond, and fishing.
That
Just
sounds
me
like a
and
great
him
day.
and the other boy.
Yep.
And we did have a really good time. They packed sandwiches, peanut butter sandwiches. It was really nice. It was one of my favorite Mother's Days. It was really fun. What about you, Gil? What's Father's Day like in your world?
Well, I prefer just to be together with the family. And as you get older, you realize that, some members might not be here next year. So you just learn to appreciate them little family get-togethers. And I don't really want anything, as far as, material goods or anything like that. Just even if sometimes we used to go up north, up to hunt and camp and just have a bonfire and hang out and cut wood and just, hang out with the family. And that's kind of what I really appreciate about Father's Day.
They should call those bonfires instead of bonfires.
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
when you should trademark that.
Yeah. Somebody write that down. So, so
pretty good.
the thing that I like about both of you guys is that you're such family men, and it really shows, and that you're so dedicated to your jobs and sincere and nice. And thank you for being here with us today.
You're welcome.
I really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
us. Pleasure.
it. So if you were, there's a lot of young men in the world right now, and they're growing up in a different environment than what you grew up in, and you both have girls. And how do you feel about? They're dating, obviously, because they're older.
I wish they weren't.
You wish they weren't. So have you
Too late
had
now.
any good ones? Any potential good ones?
I'm hoping there's some. I try not to get too involved. As a dad, I'm there to support in any way I can, but I try not to interfere or get too involved.
She doesn't live at home anymore.
No, she's on her own. So her dating life.
Does she bring him home ever?
If I get to meet them, it's something special. She tries to, like within the first. If she always wants me to meet them right away. But I'm very old school in the point where when you come to meet me, it's because something's important and you want me to be in his life, or you want him to be in our life.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about this beer for a minute. This is our third beer. And what is this? Oh my gosh, it's coffee-ish.
Yes, this is a little bit different than the other two.
It's because the hops were roasted?
The grain was roasted. Grain, close. The hops gives that a little bit of bitterness. Balance out the sweetness. In this beer, there is lactose.
I know.
Oh, that's right.
So it adds a little bit of extra sweetness. The roasted of the grains give it that coffee kind of taste.
It does.
Where does the lactose come from?
Lactose is basically milk proteins or milk sugar.
So it's derived from milk, and then you add
yes,
it to
it's
the
milk.
beer?
So
Milk
does
sugar.
that mean you can drink it for breakfast?
Absolutely. Breakfast stouts. Essentially, yeast eats sugar.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what kind of sugar it is. There's all kinds of different sugars. But lactose is one of those types of sugars that doesn't ferment. So it leaves behind a little bit creaminess and a little bit of sweetness. Where
so it's a
other
little
sugars
like
are
richer, thicker
Yes.
almost,
Yep.
I'd want to
exactly.
say.
It kind of reminds me of chocolate.
Yes, like a baker's chocolate.
It
or
does.
Like
Bittersweet chocolate.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. So is there a beer that you would recommend for a barbecue or a dessert? I mean, you know how wines, they
pairing it
say
with
best
something.
with red wine.
Beer pairs with so many good things.
So
this
what
would be
would
more
you
of a
pair
dessert beer.
this with?
This is a good dessert beer. Ice cream.
Oh.
Actually, a little vanilla ice cream. I like to float. It would actually go pretty well with.
No, don't. Jeez.
You said you like IPAs. IPAs go really well with spicy foods.
Like Mexican food. And,
Yeah, anything with a little bit pepper. Yeah. Something interesting about this beer: cream stout, milk stout, sweet stout. They call them 1700s, 1800s. I'm not quite sure the exact time frame, but they actually marketed them to nursing mothers.
Ooh.
Is that
As being
right?
healthy for the baby and the child and the mother
Yeah,
to keep
but
them healthy.
It would get the milk
Well,
to
Because
it
the
go.
milk-
makes sense,
It
though,
would get the
doesn't
milk
it?
to go.
It makes sense. I have a story about that, but I'm not going to tell it. But when I was in Europe, I am going to tell this other one. When I was in Europe and we toured the Lowenbrow
Yes.
in, I believe, Belgium, right?
Somewhere
It wasn't Germany because that's where Heineken was. I'm pretty sure it was Belgium. But they made special bottles for the dark beer that they brewed only there that had a lid, screw-on lid and you could take it off and put a baby nipple on it. They would feed beer to their babies because it's so nutritionally sound.
Oh, there's so many vitamins in a solid
I
made
would've
beer
never
before they
thought
were
that.
filtered and before lots of B vitamins.
And those are hard to come by.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Your more complex B vitamins. Yes, a lot. Of,
So you know what? If you drink wine one night for the resveratrol and the antioxidants in it,
Yes.
you can drink beer the next night for the B vitamins by
There you go.
joke.
Yes, there you go. By golly.
And you'll just be really healthy. But when I am going to tell that story. I used to run and be really athletic, and I worked in a health club. And one year, all I did was drink beer out by the pool. I'm not kidding you. I ate hardly anything, but I drank beer. It was the healthiest I ever was. And I went to the doctor for a checkup, and I didn't tell him because I was afraid he was going to yell at me. And he said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up. Isn't that weird?
I don't know if
I
that's
was young. I
don't
was
know.
really young.
I don't know if that's an endorsement for drinking beer.
Well, the monks
I
used to
mean,
do
I
that.
ate,
That's all they
but-
used
There
to
you go,
drink
the
nothing
monks.
but beer to fast. But so maybe that's
Because there's so much
something behind it.
Yes.
And it probably depends on the water and where the hops and all that stuff was grown too,
Well,
because
absolutely.
it gets
Typically,
it from the
like
soil.
more like the stouts. Your richer, thicker beers were the ones they would use as meals.
Huh.
Well, it
So
would
if
have
you
some-
ever want to become a monk, you have a good reason right there.
Well, absolutely. One thing that I looked into before I came in, women have a huge history in brewing. Until the 11th, somewhere around the 11th century, when the monks started taking over, women did all the brewing.
Well, I do remember a story that my grandma used to do all the wine and mead and ales for the thrashers when the thrashers would come
Yes.
in.
And the threshers are the people that cut down the crops.
Yes, and they would come in once a year, so they would have a great big party. But she would be responsible for all of the fermenting of all of the stuff. So she would, have to have that all at her fingertips.
It's
So
part
yeah.
of the provisions. I mean,
So they hung out and just brewed beer?
essentially.
Huh. And now there's still a bunch of women you were talking about on those guys' show. Those guys.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone always thinks of a big bearded guy like when you think of
yeah,
brewers.
you're the epitome of the
Yeah, exactly.
the beer, yeah.
ninja.
But like I said, the history of brewing, it was part of the gathering, the preserving, the making the foodstuffs.
Yeah.
So women were predominantly the ones that did it.
That's interesting.
And then come modern times, Industrial Revolution, more men started doing it, and that's where that came from. But alewife was the term, or brewster was what they would call them. In Michigan, we have, I can't remember exactly how many. I know of at least a half dozen women in the brewing industry that
Cool.
are pretty interested. I mean,
It just makes
they
me so
haul around
happy.
thousands of pounds of grain, and they're a third of my size.
So they're strong.
Oh, they're
women.
very strong.
Do you know
Especially
them
for
personally?
tiny- Oh yeah, absolutely,
They would be a good interview. I'd like some of their names if
absolutely.
you'd be so
The
kind.
Falling Down Brewing that
That you sure
that shirt I'm wearing right now.
falling down brewing. I like that.
The funny name with that Mark and Tammy Larson are the owners. Mark has MS. And his MS is starting to progress, and he can't do as much as he used to. So Tammy's taken over a lot of the brewing responsibilities, along with Corey, their other brewer. She's one of the women that I know in the industry. There's Amanda that works for Cedar Springs, Heather for Hideaway.
Wow.
And they're not just running the front of the house. They're lifting everything and moving everything and doing everything that you would think would need to be done in a brewing.
And they probably love it just as much
absolutely.
as you do. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's cool. When you find your passion, you find your passion. I love that. You have to come back and bring some of them. That would be a really fun show, I think.
Absolutely. One of the brand manager for Falling Down actually lives here in Bay City, so she would be loved to come.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. That would be a really interesting show. Okay, cool. And I thank you again for being here. So anyway, what do you want to tell that young man that's trying to date your daughter? Say it.
How do you want to know? No.
Yeah, I do.
Be respectful, not just to her family and to her. Because it's this is a potential someone, a friend, and women are more than a sexual object. They're. Like I said, I was raised by my grandmother and my mother, and women are stronger than anyone would ever know.
Very good.
They've ruled the world forever. Just no one's really known it.
That's true. We're behind the scenes kind of people.
We
Most
do
of
everything
us.
underground.
That's right. So, Gil, you live in a family of women. You have 2 daughters and a wife. And my father used to say that he had to make an appointment for the bathroom when we were growing up. And another thing he used to say was, church isn't a beauty pageant. You don't have to look that good to go, because we used to really makeup and hair,
Everybody did. We had to keep up with
That's
the
right.
neighbors.
Church, because that's when we saw all the peoples.
Yes.
How is it going in your house? Do you when the girls were younger? I know. Well, they're 16 and 18. That's prime bathroom time.
It certainly is.
Well, I have 3 bathrooms in my house.
That's why you get
One
away
of
with
them
it.
is exclusively mine because it's out in my man cave.
Oh, you're brilliant.
So I'm
That wasn't intentional, now was it?
well, I don't know. I think it was just luck.
There you go. There you go.
So, what advice do you have for those young men that want to date your daughters?
Well, I'm actually lucky because my daughter is very career focused. She does not date, and
This is the
lucky you.
18-year-old?
yeah.
Wait
yeah.
a little while.
Well, she sees what her friends go through, and there's just so much drama, and
Smart.
they come to her with their drama
Yeah.
for advice.
She
And-
gets
and-
it in one ear.
Right, and she's glad that she doesn't deal with that right now because she wants to be a doctor. And I explained to her, you don't have time for this nonsense if you seriously want to be a doctor. You've got some serious schooling ahead of you, and I think she understands that now. So she's perfectly fine not dating.
This is good.
So-
Good for you anyway.
So that young man that finally does penetrate through, I don't mean that literally.
That finally breaks through her shield. Yes, okay.
Maybe next time I'll
That
save
was
the
the
beer
wrong
for after
choice
the
of
show.
words. Oops. It is going to have to be really something.
Oh, yeah, she sets her standards
good.
very, very high.
As all women should.
Right. Yeah, too often we don't. You're right. I don't know why either. Sometimes that's another show,
Sure.
isn't
That's a
it?
whole
That
other
would
show,
be a
yes,
good
Yeah,
next show.
that's another
So
show.
what about the 16-year-old?
He's a boy.
Oh, he's a boy. Well, then
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about
No,
that.
he's good to go. He's just a typical 16-year-old boy, and
So what are you teaching him? How are you teaching him how to treat women? What do you tell him? What do you say?
at this point, I can't teach him anything because he knows everything.
Knows it all.
Yeah, they'd say that.
I'm trying to get him to get a job and get out of the house while he still knows everything. But
Right. Because anybody will hire him, for goodness sake, when they know everything.
yeah,
Oh, those stinkers. Not raising boys, but you were a boy, obviously, growing up. How did your grandma and mom handle you? What did they say to you to keep you in line?
Oh, my grandmother's very strict rules, especially with women. I got a very long speech before I ever went out on a date.
Oh.
And just pretty much every daily. And a wisdom that she would imply.
Nice.
You always hear things.